Hello YouTube, and this is a video by Gareth112 for Mosslander Gamers YouTube channel. We are going to be doing a Hearts of Iron 4 mini-series, and we're doing the Millennium Dawn with Trump's and Brexit mod. So shall we give it a go? I've probably played about 2 or 3 hours learning the mod. I've probably clocked over 800 hours on the base game, but so I didn't look like a complete twat playing this on YouTube. I did have a little go, so let's find out how well I actually learned. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a relatively easy country to start with, and then if you could put some comments in on the video to say which one you'd like me to do next, that would probably be the best idea. I don't mind it being a hard one. On the base game, I've almost conquered the world with pretty much most of the minor nations, apart from some of the impossible ones, like this little place here, Luxembourg. You know, there's not much you can do with their limited manpower, unfortunately. But that's needless to say. I think I was able to take out the Netherlands, Belgium, France, Spain, because the revolution in Spain went in favour of the communists. So I sort of aligned myself with the Axis and took out those. But anyway, so I'm going to start with India. I think it's not too difficult because you can take out sort of the Muslim states, because obviously this is around where ISIS and everything. So I'm going to take out maybe Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran and Iraq first to build up some more factories. So let's go. I'm going to play it on regular. So let's go. Flat to load. Okay, so I'm not sure if any of you have played this game before, but the game sort of works on a modifier that allows you to, well, actually you can really cripple your country, but you do get some positive benefits if you do that. One of them is every now and then they will say you can lose 1 or 2 stability but gain a resource or political power or something like that. I always try and put my stability as high as possible. So, you know, you can build factories, you can take over land to get resources, but if you have bad stability, it also potentially lowers your national unity. So that's, to me, that's worse. Okay. So we've got quite a nice army, which I think there isn't much pending on it when you join. No, there isn't. I'm going to try and get us the cutting edge on infantry equipment, because most of our army will be infantry based to start with. I will go down the tank tech tree eventually. Let's click off that. Right, we've got 22. Let's build some navy first. We'll have 3 on there to start with, and 2 on them, and maybe a frigate. Yep, okay, so we need obviously infantry equipment. Let's unpause it just for a second so we can find out what equipment we are missing. But because we're fully equipped, it won't tell us. So I'm going to assume we need some support equipment. Motorized, because you normally do. We need to build our main battle tank, which will be in there. I'm going to put 4 of those on there because I will go down a tank tech tree. I'm going to build some multi-rolls. Artillery will probably be required. So anyone that hasn't played Hearts of Iron, the premise of the game is normally it's a World War II simulator. With the new Millennium Dawn mod, basically that puts it into the sort of the modern age, shall we say, and it also is quite a substantial mod. It's actually more than some of the actual expansion packs that Paradox have released. In Hearts of Iron, every country when you play has generally a generic tech tree. In Millennium Dawn, they've revamped that. Near enough every nation has an almost custom one. The ones that don't have, again, a generic one, but it's been massively expanded compared to the original one. all the unit cards have basically been changed. There are like all these things here that you can see of researches. They are not in the original game. And I suppose the people that haven't even maybe played Hearts of Iron, you get, as a minor nation, you normally get 2 or 3 tech, which you can sort of research. With a sort of major nation, you get 4, and as you go down your tech trees, you can unlock more. So I've just done those 4 to start with. You have your factories. Every nation has a certain amount. I have 125. 6 of those are for building naval. I've got 97 civilian factories. Unfortunately, you don't get to use the majority of these because your nation needs them to build for commercial basis, but you get all of your military factories. You can convert your civilians factories into your military factories. That is time consuming. The thing I normally do is I will go down the tech trees that give you a boost or more military factories and civilian factories, and if there's a bit of an offset between the two, I will convert a few civilian into military, because that's a little bit quicker than actually building a military. But it really depends on the nation and the gameplay style that you're going to be using, to be honest. I mean, I've played an entire game series before where I've not done anything apart from be a defensive nation. Then I've done other ones where I've done naval more than anything. I've done paratrooping, I've done naval invasions. I mean, you are going to need to use all of these throughout your gameplay. But as an example, if you play as maybe an online game and you are playing as Canada, it could be worth building a small troop defense between your border of the United States and allying with Mexico, and then putting a small defensive line. But then both of you do naval invasions, which they might not be expecting. If you do it quick enough, and hopefully you've got naval superiority, you could do a naval invasion and sort of pincer them. And then I've done that before online, and me and this guy was able to take out the whole of the United States within sort of like 2 or 3 years of the game starting. So and America have pretty much the most civilian and military factories in the game. So if you can get those out, being in mind it was being played by a person, this person may not have been an avid gamer of Hearts of Iron, so it may have just been a complete fluke. But it all depends on what researches, tech trees you're going down. So I generally try to have a strategy in mind before I play a game. Unfortunately, I like to use tanks, but India, Pakistan, Iran, Iraq are very mountainous regions. So actually sometimes it's worth going for infantry or even mountain troops, because they will get a boost when you're in combat. I mean, if you've got the pure numbers, it doesn't really make any difference. You're just going to dominate them, to be honest. So with India against Pakistan, it's not really a game, it's not really a battle. You will dominate them. So as said, I'm going to go down the tech trees first. The good thing about the Millennium Dawn mod is that you don't have to have a reason to declare war. You can just declare war. Or you can justify. You don't need to be a democracy or anything like that. Or in the base game, you have to be fascist or communist, really, to fabricate claims on other regions or justify war goals. You don't have to on this. You can just, as any nation, as any government, you can just declare war. But unfortunately, I don't have enough military power at the moment. So what I'm going to do is just select all the troops on that border. I'm going to set a border. I'm going to set an invasion plan. You may see me manually take control of my units, because the AI in the game is okay. It's been improved with the updates, but it doesn't always use the best method for things. So just keep that in mind. And I'm going to upgrade some of my units. This is purely because I want to know what they have in them. So if I upgrade those to an infantry division, as you can see, I'm going to need more infantry equipment, and I've got none available. I'm going to need motorized, so luckily I did choose motorized. And I'm going to need support equipment. Obviously you're thinking, you know, a nation doesn't have unlimited manpower. Well, as India, you pretty much do. You know, Yeah, so as I said, you don't have a unlimited manpower in the game, but with India, China, you pretty much do. They use voluntary only, which is only 0.5% of their population. That already gives you 4.5 million. So I potentially, depending on how far this goes before I get killed, um, may have to change that to maybe limited conscription. But really, you don't want to go above maybe extended, because as soon as you go by service requirement and all adults serve and scrape on the barrel, you'll get a massive penalties. So if you want to try and play the game as logically as possible, you don't want to go above those, to be honest. Let's quickly just booster a few more of these. I know I'm going to need those. I know I need those. I still don't have... Okay, that'll do. I've not enough resources. Let's just trade off those for a minute. I'm not going to be taking on China not till later on, so when you trade in games, you're giving them a factory of yours for a resource, so your available factories will go down. So take that in mind. If you are, say I'm going to be taking out Pakistan, the last thing I want to be doing is trading with them, because I'm giving them my factory so they can build up their nation quicker. So try to trade from people that you are either aligned with, allied with, or people that you know are miles away and you're not going to be affected by what's going on their end, and vice versa. You want to keep that trade separate from your plans. Another thing is because these are mountainous regions, you're going to get a lot of penalties on your units, especially with attrition. So the first thing you want to do is build up your infrastructure in those regions, so that when your front line is attacking your neighbour, they're not already at a weakened state with less organisation. So to me, that's the first thing to do on the neighbour. Another good thing about the Millennium Dawn mod is that you actually get this, and you don't get this in the real game, which is you can build the resources that you need, factories, which I will do. I know I need uh, tungsten and aluminium, or aluminum if you're American. So I could just literally go, actually, look at all this space I've got. So let's just build 2 of those there, and 1 there. Bang. And then I could go, let's do the same for that. So let's build another one there and another one there. So now, which I will do those after, they will get built and I won't need to trade with anyone. But what will happen is, as I acquire more military factories, I will assign those to build queues, will in turn will mean I will require more resources. So actually, this is like almost an endless circle, that you're always needing more resources. There will be a point where you've taken over enough nations that you actually don't need to trade with anyone anymore, because you've just got a bit of everything coming in. So that's sort of the end game bit. So let's actually play the game. I'm going to put it on quite fast because let's have a look. Okay, so we've got all the events in the game are based on historical events. They don't necessarily have to go how they went in history. They can change. So this is one of those things where I can gain stability, I can gain national unity, but I'll lose political power. Well, I don't even have much political power at the moment. But I'm going to do that because I want to keep my nation stable. So I'm going to choose that option. I don't even need to read it, because it's just basically you want to know about the buffers or the negatives that you're going to get. Let's just put some of these here. I am going to put a border with China, because I did see on someone else's channel that China suddenly declared war on, or justified against, India. So I don't really want that happening to me. I very much doubt that I'll be naval invaded, so especially if no one's at war with me yet, so I'm not going to set a defensive line around my borders with the sea, so there's no point, or coastline, shall we say. as you can see, that I'm suffering attrition in this region. I don't really want that, but it's very early game. I've got unlimited manpower almost. It is going to go down because of this attrition, but I am building up. So that's going to decrease my stability. So either way, I'm going to lose something. But my base national unity is quite high at the moment, so I'm potentially... No, let's do that, because that will put me back to what I was anyway. I know I'm minus political power, but that's okay at the moment. So as you can see, my attrition's gone now. And that was because, obviously, some of my plants have obviously finished or about to finish. So, and they were probably in transit, which you suffer a penalty then as well when units are moving. Once they've actually stopped, generally it's not as bad. So one of these have actually been fully built. As you can see, that's 10 now. So any units in there will be getting the supplies they need. I do like to do it all. So obviously my capital is in that region, which is why it's 10. But say we was in a nation that didn't have their capital right next to their border, say it was down here somewhere, what I would do is build infrastructure all the way to my region, to the capital, all the way to my borders. I mean, leaving the things in between, so that when my units remove from the border and if they have to fight backwards, which can happen if you're against a major nation, especially, it means that you're not suffering resources not being able to get to your men. So, just another tip. I'm gonna put all my navy together for now. Once we've got a little bit of political power, I'm going to start justifying against Pakistan. So that event there, Chernobyl, is a historical event that actually happened. It went the same way as it did in history. So and as you can see, if you click on any nation and click on their flag, you bring up this details. This is all your democracy. But what a lot of people seem to forget about is the details tab, and it tells you quite a lot of information. And so I know because of my encryption and decryption technologies, I know roughly they've got between 25 and 35 units. It doesn't tell me how well prepared or what those units are, but just pure numbers, I've got more. We know they've only got 4 military factories, which is this one, but they've got 10 to 12 civilian ones, which is not a bad number. They have not a bad amount of planes, depending like if it's 400 or 100. Their navy is not great, but they are a minor nation. So let's actually, I mean, obviously I've got a lot more. Let's set mine to go over there. Let's merge them. And in fact, let's move some away, because as you can see, I've got 886 planes and 600 airports, shall we say. So I'm just going to move some over there. In fact, they're not close enough, so I'm going to move those over there as well, so they can actually participate. And then if we move some there as well, it means that that load is spread out. And as you can see, because it's gone green, it means that we, at the moment, because it isn't tied to you really go to war, have air supremacy in that region. And that's quite important, actually. There's been many battles where I've had the numbers against, say, like Pakistan, but unfortunately, I'm losing quite a lot, and I've lost quite a lot of men, and a very large amount of the time it's either the fact that they've got a large amount of artillery, or they have a better air force than you. So just keep that in mind. It's something that can be quite easily forgotten about. In quite a lot of the YouTube videos I've watched, a lot of YouTubers don't really use their air force, and they don't. I don't see them using it. So it's something that can give you a big buffer. Another thing is, so yes, this region has military access, or the United States has military access to Pakistan. It doesn't mean they're aligned or allied or in any way. So we have enough political power now to actually start retaking So that actually means that if you can see, that takes 145 days. If I just did pure conquer, it's 290. So if you've ever got the option to retake a core state, best use that option. You can still take all their land. It just means you doesn't cost you as much political power, but it also means it doesn't take as long. So it's worth keeping that in mind. Let's unpause the game. And as you can see, it's going quite quick. So I'm running this on an SSD with an overclocked i5 with 16 gig of RAM. So we shouldn't really have much slowdown. Unfortunately, with this game, it seems to get quite laggy when you sort of get to the late game. I've seen that on, doesn't matter what system you run it on, that seems to happen. I think that's just an optimization issue with the game. So, just worth taking that in mind. But I should better run it on speed 5 and not have any issues. Once we get to war with someone, we will put it down to maybe 3 or 4. Just so if something goes untoward or not to plan, we can sort of counteract it. If you're on speed 5, you may have missed your opportunity and it could actually end disastrous. As an example, I played as World War II and I was playing as Poland, and I managed to push back Germany all the way, and I had them sort of near enough to capitulation above the France border, forgetting that obviously during World War II the Soviet Union declared war on Poland as well. Was too busy looking at this front line. I did have men on the front line with the Soviet Union, but I completely forgot. And next thing I know, when I looked over there, nearly all of Poland was taken by them, and I had to reload an old save. So it's worth trying to. And again, I was on speed 5, and I was being a bit cocky. That is not what I wanted to do. That was what I was trying to do. So what we'll do, just so they all stop randomly spawning wherever they want, is I'm going to tell them all to spawn there. Because it's a bit different with your infantry equipment and planes than it is with your naval. So your naval doesn't really... like, these just randomly spawn. They're more like a building than equipment. So they just continuously spawn. You don't stockpile them or anything like that, which to me would be preferable, because you could stockpile them and then say deploy them when you want to, but they do take up space in your port, and if they're in the port, they're taking up your population. So as you can see, 11,000 men are in my navy. It's not an actual bad navy. It's just it needs more capital ships really. So what I might do is put that down to 1, put that down to 2, and then those extra charges saved up, I might put them up there. It's going to take a while, but we will get a few more. In fact, I might build a couple more, because we've got quite a lot of... So a lot of YouTubers I've seen at this point, they would be mass producing military buildings, which there is times when that's worth doing. But as you can see, we've got quite a few for the beginning of the game. We're against quite a few minor nations to start with, and we will be getting their military factories. Plus, because we were building them earlier in our tech trees, we will be acquiring quite a few. So at the moment, I'm not going to be doing that. And that's one of the benefits of playing as quite a large nation. If this was a minor nation, you would be pretty much using all of your free slots to build military factories, so you can sort of compete with the larger nations. No, we've still got about 100 days. I think their navy, their army is pretty well trained, so we don't really need to be keep training them. But I will train those 2 units just because we want some. So, sorry, I went a bit quick there. I didn't really explain it. So, this is your aggressiveness of your armies. There is a lot of information on there, but basically that would just mean they would just keep pushing regardless if they're losing. Basically, medium is basically if they believe it's going to go in their favour and they will attack, or they just defend, and then that would just be defensive basically. So that will only be when they 100% guaranteed, and they would not attack any fortified positions. So that's only a small. So let's give them a general. There you go, some level 2 generals. Difference between a general and a field marshal, as you can probably already see, is normally down to sort of skills, and also the amount of men that they can control sufficiently. So you could put 100 men there, but then the other 40 won't get any buffers from him, which is fine. It'd be absolutely fine for a short battle, but if you might as well just assign those other men to another commander and put them with the same battle plan. So that's probably what I would suggest if that's the case. So let's unpause it. Actually, while they're training, even though only 2 of those units are actually training, technically, because you can only train to a certain level, they're all suffering the attrition, and they've all lost their organisation, even though it's only 1 unit that's actually training, or 2, shall we say. And if you deploy new units, they're normally green, then they go trained, then they go sort of regular, and then if they don't get too many losses, they can go up other levels as well. So, but that's very hard to keep them at that. And yeah, so we did need something else. So let's remove 1 from there and 1 from there, because we're starting to stockpile. And we will build some anti-air. And we can put those 2 there. We can change our government. I don't really need to change much of this. When we get to the point where we can change these, or we should be changing these, I'll explain what they do, assuming you don't know. What I'm going to start doing, because again, I'm going to be going down the sort of military route. I'm going to be going down Captain of Industry, which will give us, like you can see here, boost on construction, which to me is massive. I don't have enough for anything else at the moment, but that should give us quite a boost here. And because of the way our economy is at the moment, we get a penalty on construction speed. So if we see those ones I said I explain in here, at the moment we get a minus 70 on construction speed. So when we can, we'll do it as soon as possible, we will be changing that to, we can't do war economy until, unless we go fascist. But we can go total, but we have to be at war, and they have to have more factories in this, which Pakistan won't, so I can't use it until we're at war with maybe someone like China. So the next one will be partial military, which we should be able to go to, because we are currently a conservative, so we won't be able to. We can go social liberal though, that should be okay. No. Okay, so we might have to change our political party. Communist would be the quickest to go down and get to, so I might do that next, when we next get political party. Enough political points. So as you can see, even though we've not been at war with anyone, we've actually generated some army experience. Okay, so unfortunately, look at my game. The recording software seemed to crash. So I was saying about army experience previously. Unfortunately, I've actually had gone to war since because I thought the game was still being recorded. But as you see, we've got quite a few bit of army experience now. I'm going to stop my invasion plan, and hopefully they won't capitulate too quickly because I want to change my civil economy into like war economy. But I need quite a lot of political power for that. So we're just going to be holding the line, hopefully, and not advancing. Because the good thing about changing your economy and your trade policies is that they continue after the game, after the war. So even though we're not at war, we could still be in war economy, which means we get all of those consumer factories back, and we also get buffs to building things, which is also always great. The other thing is if we changed it to sort of maybe limited rather than, because I really need to be exporting to get more, we can put it to limited so we get again more construction speed, more research time, everything's better. That I do like to go to closed, but again that can actually have cons as well. So you need to think about what sort of nation and what focus you're going to be focusing on. So let's see how long it's going to take. So we get quite a bit a day actually, so it's not going to take too long. Put that on there. I'm going to put those on there. In fact, let's get ready because I know I want to get some from them once we finish. So, boom, done. Missing equipment. Attack aircraft carrier capable. Well, I'm not too bothered about that at the moment. As long as we don't capture their capture point, which is their capital, we can actually move this forward. So let's just bring these down here. Let's cripple them as best as possible so we don't have to worry about... Because that's the region we don't want to invade, that one there. In fact, we've actually got a few mountaineers as well. Do they need that as well? I'm not going to push anymore anywhere. Okay. Do we have enough for any of these? We're waiting for the 300. Bit like the Spartans. As I said, the war with Pakistan is easy because we're a major, they're a minor. So, it's gone pretty much how I thought it would. As you can see, we are suffering attrition. That's because their borders were not maintained. Their infrastructure was not maintained, shall we say, or at a high level. So we're suffering that now. Yeah, I always use multi-role because it's a good all-rounder plane. It depends, like for this, if I was against a major nation who's probably going to have a lot of multi-role themselves, I will probably go for attack fighter because it will take down a lot of theirs. So we are literally waiting for that just to get to 300. That would be enough, I think. That was partial, wasn't it? Yeah. So it gives us a buff and it takes away that minus 70 construction speed and adds a plus 10 construction speed on military factories. And it gives us 30% back of our factories, which will, as you can see, civilian factories 101. We're using 82. See, 82 are for consumer goods, leaving us only 31. So we should get a nice amount of those back. I wonder if we can hold out and get the 450. No, because we're going to be at war again. We'll wait for the 300 and then we'll save up some more and get the war economy later on. Because I'm going to be at war. We've only been playing for about just over a year in game, so that's not very long at all. Once we've taken over Pakistan, what I will do is save the game, edit the video, upload it to YouTube, and then I will probably play some more and edit the video and upload that tomorrow. So I'm going to spend about half an hour to an hour on this a day. Right, let's get us a better main brown bad tank. Now, as you can see, our actual army power is increasing. But even though we're only getting 0.4, and that is because, unfortunately, we are getting a low stability issue. So that's why I'm choosing every pop-up that's come up about adding stability. I'm adding it because all the bad things it's going to be giving you as we can counteract. But stability, on the other hand, it actually has quite a large amount of things that it affects your nation. I really need a few more. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but if you speed out, the game loads a bit quicker. So let's speed out. Probably all the animations and everything. So look, we're actually increasing population because I think it was 4.58 when we first started. Actually are in a bit of a deficit with equipment. That's because I'm holding this line. Whatever's the greater of two evils, to be honest. So I'm losing equipment, and I'm not really losing manpower. I'm losing equipment by holding this line when I could have taken them out. But to me, I want that extra building power, so it's worth hanging on. Especially as India got an unlimited manpower, and when we eventually get going, the amount of military factories we're going to have, losing this equipment now isn't going to be a problem. If we were going against China, on the other hand, this would be a big concern. And we will go against China. I just want to take out sort of these states to the left of us, because they're not allied with anyone. You know, we can probably take out Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia, without any other country in the world getting involved. Probably Yemen and Oman as well. If we declare war on China, on the other hand, I know they're not in a faction, but they have good relationships with America normally. Or not at this point in the game, they don't, but they will. Unfortunately, there is a bit of a Unfortunately, there is a glitch in the game where, with the infantry, the artillery equipment, even though you can see it says that 1990 is when this equipment is available, you can't look at the. That's not too bad. Apparently it's 1.6 years in front of where it should be, and will take less than 1 year. So for just over half a year, you will be advanced, which sometimes is worth doing it, but at this point in the game, it's not really worth it. And same with all this, like 1.6, it should be 426 days roughly, which would be about right. So that would give me a buff. So actually, in fact, I'm going to do it. I've got quite a few research slots, and we're up to date with most technologies. So in fact, we've got enough now. I just noticed that. So before we do that, just so you can see the difference, 80 of our factories are consumer and 34 are for us to build. There's only 59 now, and we've now got 55. So as you can see, we've now been able to build an extra 2 things. So that was only with the partial. So it's definitely worth doing that. So now we can just take them out. Won't be too difficult. There we go. Capitulate. Take all states, because that's how I roll. That's all ours now. I will get that ready. Put them over there. We will make sure we build that up. Let's just finish those. They've only got one left. Might as well. Building everything we want. Do we have any units that need retraining? Yes, we do. So let's go start training against them. And we can probably... We're going to need 41 more political power. Again, stability. We want that. Hopefully, at one point, we will have a higher level of stability. A lot of people don't like having high birth rate, but if we were to lower that, it would be down. It would get more consumer factories. But this is the national stability that I was on about, because we're on low. We've got all these minuses. They're not massive, but if you get normal stability, I think everything goes back to green like normal. And then if you get good stability, everything goes up +5. And then if you get really high stability, I think you get +10. So, you know, just for losing some political power that you can regain, it's worth having that buff. So 40. Okay, I think that's a good place to end this video. Like I said, I'll upload it, and we'll go from there. Cheers, guys. Please like, subscribe, comment. Any suggestions for any games that you'd like me to play. Anything really, just feel free to comment. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.